Hey there, everyone. Good and a happy Tuesday. King Pie meteorologist Adam Claybon. It's been sunny for a lot of the day, but it has been cooler, and some of you have probably noticed more of the cool down than others. We're going to show you those conditions here across the area and why things are cooling down and why we are going to see another increased chance of maybe a higher fire concern as we head on across the eastern side of the state, because the system that is bringing in the cooler air mass is also helping to usher in some stronger winds for the eastern side of the state. And so any sort of fire activity over there could spread a bit more rapidly. And again, drier air mass too is going to be in place with all of that. But we'll get into that here in a bit. I did want to show you how things are shaping up, though, as far as some of the smoke that we have here across the state. And for many of us here across western Washington, there's no big concern. There may have been a smaller fire here or there, but we really haven't seen anything big pop up for us here. And you can see this is going to be for smoke near the surface, so higher up into the atmosphere you might notice a bit more, and again, more of that will be possible across the eastern side of the state. But we really don't see much of that at all except around that Chelan fire. That's where we've been seeing a bit more of that really around for us as you go just north there of Wenatchee. And also Little Bear, we've been keeping an eye out. Looks like there's been a fire there that has popped off. So again, this is the time of the year that we deal with these type of things. Hopefully, again, nothing too major is going to start to develop out of this, although we've already had some issues with some of the existing fires. So it only takes that to affect one person really to become a big problem. So again, definitely be careful with a lot of your fires here over the next few days. Now, let's take a look at why all of this is happening. You can see the upper air pattern showing that we do have that area of low pressure working its way across parts of the Gulf of Alaska. And with that, well, that is helping to generate a little more of this westerly flow. That's cooling us down here into more western Washington. But again, actually that goes up and over the Cascades, and that's going to create a stronger wind there across the eastern side of the state, and a downsloping wind too, for that matter, which is going to be a drying air mass. Now, this does lift northward. Typically, we see these sweep on through going from west to east. This heads back off to the north, and it looks like maybe a ridge of high pressure could be building in as we head into the start of next work week. So that's why you see temperatures starting to climb back up into the upper 70s and lower 80s at that point. While heading on into the day tomorrow, we've seen some cooler temperatures today, but I think extra clouds around for Wednesday will keep us even cooler, and there could be a little moisture to play with at that point too. Most of that only in the form of sprinkles, though, not a whole lot. We'll warm back up into the mid and upper 70s Thursday and through, looks like for the next few days heading on through the weekend. And then we start to see things warming back up quite a bit. So nothing too major as far as the heat is concerned. As we look up this way around Paulsville, you can see a few more of those clouds developing here, while areas such as Granite Falls and areas farther east have not seen as much of that cloud coverage. Up this way around Port Angeles, it's been a beautiful day, just quite a bit cooler. And then looking at our camera here right now, looking at Seattle Stadium. World Cup and everything all done for us here in Seattle. And unfortunately, the U.S. team has been eliminated. As far as the forecast, though, for us here into the evening, we'll see a lot of clouds out there. We'll keep things more so in the mid-60s into the first part of the night, and then really dropping those numbers back down into the 50s the second half of the night as the clouds will increase. Here it is. You can see a little moisture beginning to find its way here across parts of the tip of the Olympic Peninsula. Now, a lot more of that up across Vancouver Island, and even that is not looking too impressive at all. So don't expect a lot of rain out of this as that continues to dissipate as we head on into the nighttime hours. Now, all of this will slip this way eastward, but it's with that system too that we start to kick up more of that wind out of the west, and that is going to go again up and down across the Cascades and bring in some of those strong winds for the eastern side of the state. And with that being the case, here you go. You can see red flag warnings are going to be out. Now, we already have one wave of warnings that are going to be out until 10 p.m. Tuesday night, so we're still going to be dealing with that while this next wave starts again heading into Wednesday and lasting until 10 p.m. on Wednesday night. So I wanted to make sure that you knew the difference between the two, because there are going to be two separate sets of red flag warnings out. And you can see that's going to be because of some of those stronger wind gusts getting up closer to about 35 miles per hour, relative humidity dropping between about 12 to 23%, so a really dry air mass, and any sort of fires that are around or could develop, those could spread rather rapidly. Let's talk about the winds, though. You can see eastern side of the state again dealing with some of the stronger gusts. Anywhere where you see some of the red, that's where you get some of those gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. Some of the purples and pinks, that's where you can see some of those gusts up to about 40 miles per hour. We only see that really here through parts of the Strait of Juan de Fuca here in western Washington, and so that's going to come off of the water, and that's going to be a bit more of a damp and a moist air mass for us. While farther to the east, you can see those Winds will pick up from time to time, and these are your gusts here as we head later on into tomorrow morning. Again, the advisory not in effect at that point yet, 9 o'clock, for those areas that are dealing with some of the fires as we speak right now around Chelan. You can see only around 9 miles per hour. Gets a bit stronger as you head farther south there around Wenatchee and Yakima, but it will pick up again as we head into tomorrow afternoon, and that's where we are going to have the concern for some of that rapid spreading of any fires that could be out there. Farther west for us, things pretty quiet, and we're just dealing with another typical quieter day with a bit more cloud coverage, and some of that tries to pick up again heading into Thursday too. We'll see what the National Weather Service does with that, but for right now, no red flag warnings out for Thursday. Now, Futurecast has the cloud coverage moving in as we go throughout the night. You can see the little speckles of green popping up, the little dots here and there. That's just letting you know that we do have moisture in the atmosphere, and there could be some sprinkles out there, but nothing really too organized as far as any sort of rain. 6 o'clock in the evening, things trying to clear out, especially for areas farther to the south, and then we'll see another wave of clouds to start off Thursday. I think a lot of that will stay off to the north and to the west, so areas over the Olympic Peninsula, near and north really of Snohomish County and Everett, we're going to see more of the clouds there, and that will keep us a bit cooler in those locations, while south of there, we're talking central and south sound and the Kitsap Peninsula, southwest interior, really warming up yet again, and I think we could see highs back up into more the mid to upper 70s, maybe even nearing 80 in a few spots before Friday comes along and we see another weak disturbance approaching the region. Now, rainfall amounts with this, I did mention this is going to be very limited, so measurable rainfall going to be hard to come by, but the farther north you are, the better chances are of you probably seeing that up around Orcas Island or maybe Quileute. And you can see, as we look at Futurecast, we continue on here through more of the upcoming weekend. Friday, that weaker disturbance spinning just off of the coast, but helping to produce enough moisture to maybe produce a shower or two, especially across some of the higher terrain across the mountains. Monday, that's out of here, so mostly sunny, and we have that ridge trying to scoot its way back closer to us from out east, and that could warm us up. So I think for Monday and Tuesday, we're talking about rather warm temperatures at that point. But leading up into that point, and really for the next few days, we're talking about overnight lows that will drop down into the low to mid 50s. So it gives us some relief here during the overnight hours, even though we do warm up quite a bit heading on into next work week for some of the afternoons. We're going to see temperatures right around the upper 70s on Thursday, so there's the warm up there before we see more cloud coverage and cool down heading on into Friday and Saturday. Sunday at 74, and then you can see those numbers trying to climb back up into the 80s again Monday through next Thursday, so that could be a decent stretch of some moderate heat ahead for us. Nothing extreme though again. Overnight lows between the low to mid 50s, going to cool off tonight, and then tomorrow highs only in the 60s for areas near and north of Everett, and then here around central and south sound, Kitsap Peninsula, that's where we could see a few of those 70s around, but definitely will be quite a bit cooler than where we were just back on Monday. And your 7-day forecast, we warm up, we cool back down a little bit. Most of these highs will be pretty close to average. The average is at 76. It's not until we start that stretch into next Monday and Tuesday that things start to get a little warm again, especially uncomfortable during some of those overnights as we don't really cool down as much. We get enough, but not as much as where we are going to be here for the next few days. Okay, everyone, well, we'll keep an eye out for some of that heat. And again, if you're heading across the eastern side of the state, we're dealing with some of the fires right now. Just be very extra careful with anything that could help to create an additional fire out there. And then also keep an eye out for some of that thicker and denser smoke that might be around, especially if you're more sensitive to the smoke. Take care, everyone. Have a terrific Tuesday night. We'll talk to you soon.